Okay guys, today's lesson I did not record, but some of my kids have asked me to do a couple of problems, so they'll have it to go by tonight if needed. So that's what we're going to do, is just some practice problems. So we have 32 divided by 10. We are simply making it into a mixed number right now. We're not worrying about decimals. As you see on the worksheet, it says fraction to a mixed number. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 32, we're going to say 32 divided by 10. Who got to this point? Raise your hand. Good. All right, I'm going to say 10 into 32. Well, we know that 10 cannot go into 3, so we've got to look at 32. 32 divided by 10. What is 32 divided by 10?
3.
3. Very good. 3 times 10 is 30. Subtract, we have 2. All right, well, we cannot put remainder 2. We're going to make it a fraction. So we're going to take our remainder and put it over our divisor, which is our denominator. So we have 3 and 2/10, but can I leave it like this? I can simplify it. I can bring it on down because I know that 2 and 10 can both be divided by what? 2. Excellent. So now I have 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. Who got 3 and 1/5? Excellent. Okay, let's go ahead and look at another one. Not you, you stay put. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next problem. We have 3 divided by 10. What we're going to do is we're going to put 3/10. That's all we're doing. We don't even have to divide this one out because it's just like last night's homework. We're just making a fraction, so we're going to say, I'm having technical difficulties. Sorry, guys. 3 over, hold on. 3 over 10. It's exactly what you were doing last night, okay? So 3/10. There we go. That looks awful, but we finally got it. All right, so let's look at 3. What am I going to do on 3? What's 3?
Write 6 1/2.
I'm going to write 6/12 first. Very good. I'm going to write 6/12 first. But then I heard somebody holler it. They said we could write what?
1/2.
1/2. Why would we get 1/2?
You guys simplified.
I'm going to say 6 divided by 6 and 12 divided by 6. And I know that's going to give me 1/2. Okay, the next one, my first number's larger. So I know that I'm going to have a what? What kind of number? A mixed number. Very good. So I'm going to say 9 divided by 5. How many times can 5 go into 9? 1. 1 times 5 is 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. So it's going to be 1 4/5. Okay? I think we're pretty good. We feel pretty confident. Everybody feel pretty confident on this part?
Yeah.
Okay, now this next part, you have done many problems like this. You have done these in the past before Christmas, when we left for Christmas, because it was dividing decimals. So we're going to do a couple of these to refresh our memory, but it's a very easy concept. You just got to kind of remember what we did before Christmas. So let's get some room here. I'm going to move this over out of the way. Okay. Now, I have 8 divided by 10. Everybody go right here and underline quotient as a decimal. Again, you are not going to have the letter R in a number, okay? But instead of making it a fraction, we are going to make it a decimal, okay? We're going to make it a decimal. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 9 divided by 10, just like that. I'm sorry, not 9, 8. I'm sorry, 8. We're going to do 8 divided by 10. That's going to make a big difference. Got to make sure and get that problem written down correctly. Okay. Well, first of all, I can tell by looking at this that 10 is greater than 8. So I know the way it is right now, I cannot divide it. So what do I add?
You have to add a decimal.
I do add a 0, but before I can add a 0, I have to add a decimal. Behind the decimal, what if I told y'all we can add zeros from here to where?
The
moon, and it not change the value. But if I had 8 and I just put the 0 right behind it, that would be 80. So without that decimal there, I would have a total different number. But we know that every whole number has a decimal at the end of it, whether we see it or not. So we don't have a decimal on the side, so we are just going to do what? We're going to rock it to the roof. Very good. So now, I know that 10 can go into 80. How many times can 10 go into 80? 8 times. 8 times 10 is 80. We're going to subtract, and we're done. So, 8 divided by 10 is going to give me 8 tenths. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 6. Let me see if I can get some room here. Okay, I'm going to roll that up just so I can have more room to work. But y'all have the worksheet there at your seat. What's the next problem? 34. 34 divided by 5, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to use explicit trade method because I like it when I'm adding decimals. It keeps it straightened, keeps it neater for me. You can use either one. Y'all remember explicit trade?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We're going to say 3 divided by 5. Can I do that?
No.
So I'm going to drop a 0. Thank you, Gage. I'm going to drop that 0 down. What do I do with my 3? Bring it up. Very good. How many times will 5 go into 34?
7.
Nope, not 7. 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract, you have a 4. Okay. Well, I'm using numbers here, and I can't have a fraction, and I can't have an R remainder. So what have I got to put?
A decimal.
I'm going to put a decimal with a 0, and what do I do with my 4? I bring it up. So now I have a decimal here. I don't have a decimal on the side, so I'm going to rock it to the roof. Very good. Well, 5 go into 40.
Yes.
How many times?
8.
8 times. Excellent. 8 times 5 is 40. We're going to subtract and we have a 0. So I have 6 and 8 tenths. Does everybody remember doing decimals when we did them before Christmas?
Yes.
All right, well, let's go ahead and work the next one together so y'all can have a couple more to go by tonight. What's my next problem, somebody?
24 divided by
24. I'm going to use explicit trade again because I liked it because it keeps it more lined up for me. All right. Can 20 go into 2?
No.
So I'm going to say 0, and I'm going to bring my 2 up. Can 20 go into 24?
Yes.
How many times? 1 time. 1 times 20. 20. Very good. Subtract. You have a 4. We're dealing with decimals here, so we're going to add a decimal and a 0, and then I bring the 4 up. But who said? I think somebody said it already. What do I need to do with my decimal? I need to rock it up to the roof because there it is. All right. 20 will go into 40 how many times? Twice. 2 times 20 is 40. We're going to subtract. We get 0. I have 1 and 2 tenths. Okay, everybody see how I did that? There's another problem there. I want you to work it really quickly by yourself. Alrighty, guys. The next problem is 55 divided by 10. Can 10 go into 5?
No.
No, it cannot. Can 10 go into 55?
Yes.
How many times? 5 times. 5 times 10 is 50. Excellent. I'm going to subtract, and I get 5, but can I leave it like this? I'm going to add a decimal and a 0, bring my decimal up, and I'm going to bring my 0 down. How many times can 10 go into 50? It can go 5 times. You're exactly right. So 5 times. And then 5 times 10 is 50. Excellent. And I subtract and I get 0. And my answer is 5 5/10. Who got 5 5/10? Excellent. Good job. All right, so now there is one more question on there. It is a reading problem. Let's look at it together. Can I borrow yours, please? All right, it says there are 10 tables at a luncheon. The company ordered 25 pizzas. How many tables are there at this luncheon? 10. Okay, I want us to look at this question together. Let me move some of this out of the way. All right, so with your highlighter, pen, whatever, let's underline some important stuff here. There is a table. There are 10 tables at a company picnic. So what's an important number that we need to highlight?
10.
We need to highlight 10. There are 10 tables at a company picnic. How many pizzas in all are we ordering?
25.
25. So that's an important information to know too. If the same amount, is that something that's important? The word same amount of pizzas were served at each table. How many pizzas did each table get? All right. So how many pizzas did I start with?
10. No, 25.
No. 25. Excellent. So I started with 25. Okay. How many tables am I going to place these 25 on?
10.
So I'm going to divide by 10. Exactly what we've been doing. So let's go ahead and take a look and divide that out. Okay. My thing is being stubborn right now. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're going to say 25 divided by 10. How many times can 10 go into 25?
2.
2, exactly right. 2 times 10 is 20. Subtract, I have a 5. But can I leave it like this?
No, you have to bring a decimal.
It wants to make it a mixed number and a decimal. So let's go ahead right here and just write our mixed number to the side. We have 2 and what?
1/2.
2 5/10, which is going to equal, why is it going to equal 1/2?
Because 5 is half.
Because you're dividing 5 by 5 and 10 by 5, so you're going to get 2 and 1/2 is your decimal, is your fraction. Then what are we going to add here? I'm going to add a decimal and a 0. Bring your 0 down. 10 will go into 50 how many times? 5 times. Very good. I'm running out of room. 5 times 10 is 50. Excellent. When I subtract out, I get a 0. So 2 and 1/2 is equal to 2 and 5/10. Okay? Because this is going to be our fraction, if y'all can see that. I'm sorry, it's so messy. And this is going to be my decimal number. Okay? All right, so homework tonight, you're going to do 13 problems on the back. Like I said, this is not the whole lesson, but, it did give you some example problems to work, so please feel free to use it if you need to. Hold on. Let me find it. I think I...